Happy New Year. This is our first show in the new year, right, Joe?
First show in the new year. I wonder what episode this is for us, man. Might be like episode what, 60? Like we done did a couple things, man. Great 2022, new year. Same us, same energy, same constructive criticism. We're not gonna change who we are.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's all for the benefit of the kids and all our perspectives. So more of that in 2023, man. Happy New Year, my boy.
Happy New Year, bro. Happy New Year to all our listeners. You know, they asking for the Devo and Chris Joe show. We gonna give it to them now. We gonna keep giving it to them. 2023, and then it's a good way to start out the new year with a win, with a Cuse win, even though it was really sloppy. It was really sloppy from both sides. But Joe, we both know a win is a win, especially when you're going on the road in conference play. Yeah. I mean, Louisville's not what they used to be, 2-13 now, but we'll take it, man. We'll take a win. Sometimes, look, bro, sometimes you have those games where you're sloppy, it feels like the passes are just going everywhere, shots aren't dropping, but guess who has to step up? Your senior leaders, the guys who have been there before, who have been in these situations, been in these type of games before. And Joe Girard, he stepped up, man. He's hit big shots like that. We know he's capable of hitting shots like that. And then on the road, down the stretch, coming off the pick and roll, one dribble with the left hand, pull up three. He had a couple big shots. And I know, a lot of people have been critical of Joe. But if you look at the numbers, he's shooting the ball really well. He's playing a lot. He's playing a lot of minutes.
40 last
he's
night.
doing
it. Fucking rest.
Him and Judah played the whole game. So shout out to Joe Girard. I wanted to get that out there first and foremost for playing your ass off, sticking with it, continue to fight. And then when your number was called, you stepped up and hit some big time shots, man. So shout out to Joe Girard. Shout out to Joe Girard. But Joe, I want to kind of get your take on the game, just what you saw in the first half, second half, and just your overall take.
Bro, I'm gonna start with my overall take. We get a 1-point win on the road, which surprisingly, bro, given Louisville's record, I wasn't expecting the crowd to be so engaged, just being real. But that Yum Center was really loud and, some good energy there. Great. Yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Hey, that's a great atmosphere to be playing in. That's a great atmosphere to get a win in. But my takeaway, just to start with my takeaway, was we had 3 bench points. Like, we're not expecting huge production from the bench, but for us to still get a win with 3 points from the bench is pretty good, which means that a lot was put on our starters or, just the guys that were in the game. And like you said, they were able to step up. Joe, 28, Judah, 16, Jesse, double. Would have loved to see more out of Benny this game just because of how he played against Boston College. He was active on the boards, a couple putbacks, hit a couple threes. And of course, every game takes on an identity of its own. And not because you score 20 today that you'll have to score 20 tomorrow. But just to see a little bit more consistency in his play. He goes high and he goes very low. So just to see a little bit more consistency with that would have been good. But yeah, like you said, we start off, it was like Louisville goes like on a 9-10-0 run or whatever it is. Alley-oop, 2 threes. We got to call a timeout early. They press. We're throwing the ball away early in the first half. All of a sudden, we go on a 9-0 run. So it was back and forth a lot, but we were able to sustain it. We made some good plays. I think that the biggest thing for me is, like you mentioned before, is just Joe being the leader that he's called upon to be and being able to make those plays and rally the guys. And I see him a little bit more fiery this year. I don't know if you noticed that, but he's a little bit more fiery this year. Not a la Devendorf, but he's still fiery in his own in his own, in his own way. And I like that. I like to see that out of him.
Yeah.
He makes a big shot. He's talking a little shit, like he's saying shit. Like I like what I'm seeing out of him. And if we could, rally behind him and Judah, who are our two leading scorers, that'd be great. And then we add in Jesse, who, will give us those boards and give us those important plays down low on both sides of the floor. That'd be great. It was good to see Chris Bell get active on the scoreboard. He scored a little bit. What he had, 8-9 points.
Yeah, 8, I think. Yeah.
But the production, we got to just continuously keep getting that production. That freshman talk is over. Judah is not playing like a freshman anymore. You know what I mean? So that excuse now goes out the window. He's playing a good brand of basketball. We already knew that from day one. He talks his shit. I love it. Flexing and all that. I love it.
Talking to the crowd a little bit.
Talking to the crowd, but overall, talking to Nolan. They were talking about he was talking to Nolan Smith. Nolan is at Louisville now, so shout out to Nolan.
Yeah,
but,
DC guys.
DC, yep. DC Assault, baby. I was a part of that family. But 7-1 in our last 8, bro. So there's not much to really, of course, there's a way to win. There's a way to lose. You could always nitpick at things. When you win a game, of course, you want to continue to build no matter what. Win or lose, you could learn from both experiences. You lose, obviously, you could learn a little bit more because now you know what not to do. When you win, you got to be able to perfect these things and be perfect almost. No such thing as perfect, but you could be damn near perfect. So I think just going back to the drawing board, I think these guys are locked in. Like I said, 7-1 in our last 8. Can't complain.
Yeah, bro, and that's our job, is to nitpick. So I'm a nitpick right now, and I'll start with the positives. Obviously, Joe showing that he's the leader, a guy that can hit big time shots, and we saw it before. But for him to come out on the road and do that was big time. Judah, I thought he didn't play his best game, but I mean, he is so explosive getting to that basket, finishing at that rim. Again, once that jump shot starts coming consistent, it's going to be, that guy is going to be unstoppable. But, he had some times where he put his head down and had some silly turnovers, but, we can live with that because he makes up for that in a lot of ways. And then defensively, aggressive mistakes. Aggressive mistake. And then defensively, bro, I think that he's not being talked about defensively enough at the top of the zone. His anticipation, his deflections up top. I promise you, I see at least 3 or 4 deflections up top every single game with 2 steals. I think he's averaging, over 2 steals a game. And then, talking about Jesse, I don't think he had his best performance, but again, we'll take a double-double every game, you know what I mean, from him. And then to add 5 blocks, I do think that we need to find him a little bit more, just give him the ball. I know he's not a back to the basket type of guy, but how our team is built, we need to feed him just to keep the defense honest. If you know what I'm saying, to be able to,
for sure.
All right, we do, because he's shown he's capable of scoring when you pass him the ball with his back to the basket, and all he has to do is get a little bit of space towards it, and then just turn and use that 7-foot frame. You saw it like late in the second half. If he can just turn and go up and be long, a lot of times he's gonna get foul calls because those guys aren't big enough, to try to block his shot. So I thought we could have found Jesse a little bit more in the second half, and I think they did do a pretty good job of that, trying to force feed him a little bit, and that allows guys to kind of cut through the middle and open up the floor, not only for Jesse but for the shooters. But overall, man. Exactly. It creates that balance. Overall, a win is a win, but going back to your point about the bench and about Benny, bro, we can't move forward with just these 3 guys giving us production. We know those 3 guys are going to be there for us really every single game. If one of them's not, we're probably going to lose. But now we need Benny, we need Bell, we need Justin Taylor, and really, I was talking about this last night, bro, on the post game show with Brian. It has to be Benny, man. Like it's not, because we talked about it, he's the X factor. Like we're hoping like one of these freshmen can just come out and give us 11, 10 or 10, 11, 12 points a game in a significant amount of minutes. And that's just not the reality for real. These guys are still learning on the fly, learning the zone, learning the rotations, learning where to be on offense, and learning what their role is. I think Benny, you're already established with that. Like you've had a year to know the zone, more than a year. Like you know what you can provide on the offensive end, your energy, your athleticism, offensive rebound, putbacks. He's added that little mid-range jump shot we saw against BC. He was knocking that down. He even knocked down a few threes. So I know I know like we're talking about, hey, we need, those three freshmen to, do it in a group setting, so to speak, right? To where we can get those three. The collective, but we can't rely on those guys. We got to have Benny do it. If Benny can be consistent, we don't even really have to be talking about Chris Bell and Justin Taylor, because Benny is that fourth guy who could be a 13-7 guy. If he's doing that for the rest of the year, we'll take Chris Bell, come in 8 points, Justin Taylor 6, 7, 4 rebounds. You got Copeland coming in, giving good energy minutes, Malik Brown. Like those guys, we shouldn't have to rely on those guys right now to give us huge minutes and huge, scoring numbers, right? We want them to contribute here and there, but it comes to Benny, bro. I'm just saying, you're the one who said in the beginning of the year, he has to be the X factor. When he plays good, when he plays up to his potential and his ability, bro, we're a different team. And that's 100%. We're 10-5 and 3-1 in the ACC. I mean, that's not bad. But if Benny plays, how he's capable of playing, bro, we have an even better record than that. So, I mean, the key for this team, and we've said it all along, I think it's Benny's play, man. Once you see him play to where he's capable of, we're a different team, man, for real.
Because what I'm noticing as well is obviously good game planning from our opponents is they want Benny to score, or they want Benny to try to score the ball. They rather him, like it's one of those, if we're going to lose, let him beat us. They don't want Joe getting off. They don't really want Drew to getting off. They don't really, they have a plan for Jesse. So at some point, it's like, okay, who are we going to choose to help more off of, and usually Benny is that guy. And against BC, he made them pay. He hit a couple of shots, top of the key, some threes, mid-range, again, activity on the offensive glass. But that right there, just that activity on the offensive glass, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to get a tip in or a putback dunk, but just creating an extra possession for us. You know what I mean? An extra possession, get on the board. Now you kick it out. Now you get a rebound plus an assist in one play because you kick it out to a shooter, and Joe's wide open. He has to know that, and I know, Benny, if you ever see this or I know you're working. I know you're working hard because I know who's coaching you. I know who's on the staff, right? You just gotta continue to be consistent with your work, and try to build that consistency. And if my shot is not falling today, how could I be of service to the team? How could I affect us winning? How could I be an impact on making us win today? Okay, I'm not making a shot. I'm not really getting the same touches that I got against BC. Well, fuck it. Let me just go try to get it myself. Offensive rebound, about 2-3 offensive rebounds. Maybe that turns into 4 or 5 points. Okay, now you're feeling good. Now your next shot that you take, your hezzy pull up or your 1-2 dribble pull up jumper, it goes in. Create activity for yourself. Create energy for yourself. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to get yourself going. You might not get the passes that Joe's going to get, the same looks. They have the ball in their hands majority of the time. Joe. So at the end of the day, you got to figure out shit. Okay, how am I going to impact this game on the boards, my activity on defense, my rebound, whatever it may be. So just continue working hard because, like I said, I know who's coaching you. I know the staff very well, and I know they're not going to let you slip through the cracks, and I know they're holding you accountable. So just keep working and just keep every game, like I said, takes on an identity of its own. Louisville might not have been your game to score, but this next game it might be. So never hang your head. You're not. No one's judging you. You're not, one game doesn't determine the type of player you are, but your body of work will. You know what I mean? So every game just become more consistent. Just think about consistency on the boards, consistency doing my job in the zone, my 1-2 dribble pull up, whatever it may be. But if you could trickle in 10 points, 5 rebounds a game for us, 11-7 because you're able to rebound, because there's really nobody else rebounding besides Jesse like that. You know what I mean? So we need a couple rebounds from you, and we'll be straight, man. But like you said, if he plays up to his potential, like we saw, like we've seen, man, we're gonna win some basketball games.
And shout out to Joe too from the guard spot. Had 7 boards last night, and he's coach talks about being around that free throw line area. He got a lot of free throw line area rebounds last night. So shout out to Joe, 7 boards. But Joe, or just to kind of keep going about Benny, as both of us know as former players, when you have a guy like that, and we've had guys like that on our team, super athletic, energy guys, not a guy who's going to have a lot of plays drawn up for him. He's not that type of guy. You like you said, you have Judah, you have Joe, and then we have Jesse, right? As a guy who could see what type of player Benny is, when he gets those I guess energy buckets as far as putback dunks, running the floor, transition buckets, get a block shot, get a big rebound, flying above. Now as his teammate, when he does that, now that's when I'm looking for him, because now he's in a different mode, right? He's had a couple really good plays.
Turned on.
Exactly. Now I'm like, oh, hey, Benny, I'm looking for you now. Now you might be able to, flash to that high post, get that little mid-range jumper, or flash pump and go to the basket. Once you get a couple of those energy plays going on, Benny, now I'm looking for you. You know what I mean? And I think Judah and Joe know that. They know that, hey, once his energy is and he's playing at a high level, now we can feed him a little bit more. Now he's hit a couple of those shots. Now it's whatever. Now he's playing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what type of guy he is. He's an energy guy, and he plays off of that. Once he gets a few of those buckets going down, a few of those blocks, now we can start to see the whole evolution of his game come together. And Joe, speaking about like the rotation, what Benny's play really means to the whole team, because we know Coach Boeheim, he doesn't want to play 11, 10 guys. He don't want to do that, but he's been having to do that this whole year because Benny hasn't been consistent. So he's trying to figure out, all right, who's going to give me some consistent minutes? Like, bro, it's hard for a coach to play 11 guys because you don't know who's going to give you what on an every night basis. So like, if I got to play Bell, he's not playing that good. Okay, now I got to bring in Taylor. He's giving me okay. Now I got to bring in Malik. You don't want to have to do that. Like, so Benny, if you could just give me those consistent minutes, now we can be like, all right, let's Bell, he can be consistent. If Bell's not playing, sub in Taylor. But those are the subs right there. We have our other 4 guys already set in Judah, Joe, Jesse, and Benny. But now we're having to figure out those 2 spots. You know what I mean? Exactly. We got to figure out, Benny and Bell and all that. So just by him being consistent, he helps a whole lot of other stuff as well, as far as the substitution pattern, because coach don't want to keep playing all those guys, but he's got to. He's got to. Yeah. He has no choice. And on that, man, let's go to the presser, man, from last night, and hear what Coach Boeheim had to say about the game.
I'm just very thankful that, Joe Girard, he didn't want to lose the game, and he just made a couple shots that, we shouldn't be in that position, but we made some really bad turnovers to get down, and we fight back. Then we made a couple bad turnovers. Joe he made some plays down the stretch. Judah made a couple big plays in the stretch, and then I don't know where he was going at the end of the game. The game's over. Just stop and hold the ball. But I don't know what he was doing really. He didn't either, obviously. And that's what happens sometimes with freshmen. But Joe Girard, he gets in there and gets 7 rebounds, and we got 3 forwards that can't get 7 altogether. And we can't win that way. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen in 47 years of coaching. How you can just watch and not go after the ball. I can't understand it. Louisville's pretty good. I mean, I think they're pretty good. They've had some bad shooting nights. They shot well tonight. They made a lot of shots. They make mistakes too. That's what teams that lose do. But their personnel's pretty good. Ellis is really good. James was really good tonight. We give a guy who's got 9 threes for the year, 4 of them tonight. But the last 3 games, we just haven't played good enough. We won a couple of them, but they haven't been good. And we just don't seem to be getting better. A lot of it's at the forward spot, getting the rebounds. You got to do that.
Reason.
Down.
You see, and I didn't see coach's presser. I don't really ever watch those or whatever the case is, but we said the same thing that he's saying. So of course, if your coach, we know we've been there before. We know what's necessary within the zone. We know what the coach needs from each position on the court. And when he says something like Joe had more rebounds than 3 forwards put together, that's alarming in a sense that we're not gonna. We already don't win too many rebounding battles as a team, right? But 3 forwards not being able to get, and sometimes shit as a guard you could walk into a rebound. You know what it is up top of the zone. The ball just falls right there at that free throw line area, and you go grab it, and we're on our way. But you got to have, again, it comes down to energy and effort on the boards. You know what I mean? And he said in 47 years, I don't know, that's the most frustrating thing he's seen. We got to rebound.
I'm sure he's seen some more frustrating shit than that.
Yeah, for sure. You had to have been. 47 years. As he's talking, I was just thinking, damn, coach has seen a lot of fucking basketball, bro. He's been in so many games. But going back to what he said, for us to be successful, our forwards are the key. We got to get that production from the forward because we know we're going to get it from our guards because we only have 2 of them. And those 2 are your leading scorers. They're the leading scorers of the team. 1 and 2, I don't know who averages more right now. Maybe Joe now after this performance.
I think Joe now, yeah.
Yeah. So those guys are going to get the bulk of the scoring. But again, how are you going to impact the game from that forward spot? 10 points, 5 rebounds. That should be the mindset. Let me go in here and grab 5 rebounds just so coach can get off my back. Let me go attempt to grab some rebounds. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just don't know how many times it has to be said for it to click. And I'm sure it's being said, multiple voices. Red, Griff, GMAT, coach, the managers, whoever play. That. Outside voices, outside the program, I'm sure saying the same thing. So I just wonder how long it takes before it clicks that, you got to rebound the basketball. It's going to be tough, bro. Finding a way to win in a situation like that on the road, perfect. We get a 1-point win. And coach said another thing. We haven't been playing good basketball. We've won games because, I like to say, there's a way to win, there's a way to lose. You want to win a certain way. Yes, you're going to take the win. You're never going to say, nah, fuck it, give me a loss because we didn't play the way I wanted you to. We didn't play the way I wanted you guys to play, but there's a way to win and there's a way to lose. You got to keep building.
Yes.
You got to be better. You got to be better. And the thing is no one really cares. We said it. No one cares. Work harder and bring results. That's what it is. We're in a result-based society, especially when it comes to sports. You know what I mean?
No
you
doubt.
got to get results. And, it's facts. It's all facts, man.
And think about this too, Joe. What he's saying basically too, all our forwards aren't basically doing shit. That's what he's saying. But that's an opportunity. And again, if we look at all our forwards are young. Even Benny, he's a sophomore. All right, he's young. And then you got Justin, Bell, and then Brown. They're all freshmen. And two, if you look at what he's saying for real, if these guys were to look at this, what he's saying this is an opportunity. Whoever fucking goes out there and gets the most rebounds, that's who's gonna fucking play. It's not about scoring the basketball. Yeah, we need some, scoring production. Bell is probably the most talented guy offensively. Over Taylor and Brown.
He's athletic,
right? But he's soft, bro. I saw it yesterday, bro. He's soft. He's not going dropping when it goes to the high post. He's not reading where the drop is. Is the drop in the corner 3 or is the drop in the short corner? Because the only way that you're gonna have to have help is if it's an overload, right? So if you got the short corner and you got the a couple of times there was nobody in that short corner and he just dropped there and they hit 2-3 wide open corner threes. It's just about recognizing that. Those are the details that coach wants to see. So whoever is the first guy to figure that out, to rebound the ball and compete, that's who's going to play a majority of the minutes. Like Benny, we talked about Benny. Benny, you got to look. You know what you got to do, bro. You've been here. You damn near a junior now, right? I'm really talking about those three freshmen: Bell, Brown, Taylor. And from what I'm seeing, I like how Taylor competes. Like he's just going out there competing, playing hard, and he's not a far less shooter than Bell is. Like he could shoot the ball. He hit one last night. But what coach is saying, man, who's going to go out there and compete? I'm not looking for you to come in and get 20 points a game. Benny, if you could go and get 10, 11 rebounds and have 2 points, I think we'll be okay with that. Because a lot of those rebounds are going to be offensive and they're going to lead to extra 3-point opportunities for Joe or for Bell or whoever it may be. So if they can read between the lines, he's basically saying, man, I'm giving all y'all an opportunity. I never play 11 guys. I never fucking play 11 guys. Who is it going to be? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to step up? Go ahead, Jordan. Let's hear the rest of it.
On the stretch, we missed 5 or 6 free throws, which we usually don't do early. Jesse misses 3 in a row, and Joe misses 1. We really put ourselves in an awful situation. But at the end, Joe made the 2 threes. And he made his free throws, and Judah made his 2 that had to be made, really, the way we were playing. But it's just disappointing. And again, not because Louisville's got a bad record. I think they're pretty good. I know they haven't played well, but I think they've got some good pieces. And tonight I thought they played well. I thought our defense was pretty good. And then we go right down to the end and shoot. They shoot and miss, and we can get the rebound. I mean, you can't play good defense and then give them 15 offensive rebounds. It's just not the way to win. And I like the heart we showed at the end, but we can't keep putting ourselves in those positions because you're not going to be successful in the long run in that position. Questions?
On the last play, do you think Jesse knocked the ball away from Ellis, or did he just lose it?
No, they said Jesse got a piece of it. I was like, nobody was here, but it's the same thing that happened at the end of our Louisville game when I came down here in 1977, and they had Daryl Griffin and Wesley Cox, and it was a 1-point game late, and they had the ball in the middle like that, and it was on the floor, and then it went out of bounds, and it looked like there was time on the clock, but the referee said the game was over. I ran out of there. I was so happy. it was like the same thing. It was deja vu. I mean, it was the same thing. I'm thinking they're going to get the ball or something, but somehow we lucked out. I don't know where Judah was going. It was 3 seconds. He had the ball, 3.6. All he has to do is stop. Just stop. Hold the ball, stop.
Young.
A little bit.
Yeah.
If they come and trap you, timeout or something, or throw the ball. Jesse and Justin were standing wide open over there. Sometimes, freshmen just make head-scratching, puzzling mistakes. But, again, I just can't get over, how good Joe was tonight, how determined he was, and to go get 7 rebounds in this game if he didn't go back and get them, they got the ball, and he's just really determined. I think he's having a really good year, and I think he's one of the more underappreciated players that we've had. But we're halfway through, and we're just not playing good enough. We're just not forwards. And it's strange too, because Chris, when he gets a shot, he makes it, and Justin makes a shot. They can make shots. They can't do anything else, and that's just hard to win. And they're in position. They're just not used to battling, and you have to battle there. And Benny is big and strong, and he's not doing the job we need on the boards. And early Malik was, but now he's kind of gone with them, and he's kind of watching out there too. And
Pause it real quick. Pause it real quick, Jordan. I just think, and it's funny that he said that about Malik, because I was kind of seeing that last night a little bit. It's almost like now he's like, all right, shit, I want to score now. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been rebounding, I've been doing all the dirty work. Shit, let me get some of that. Let me get some buckets. When in reality, like, bro, you got to be patient with that. Like, how are you adding value to this team? By bringing that energy, being around the ball, being versatile, getting deflections. I can see that sometimes from a lot of these freshmen, and not just on Q's, but from all over the country. They kind of almost, it doesn't excite them what their role is. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to win basketball games, everyone has to be secure in their role. Like, so Joe, and let me ask you this: is that kind of like something that we're dealing with right now from the forward spot? Is like an identity thing? Like, these guys, are coming from high school where most of them were probably scoring the basketball at a high level, right? They're probably used to having the ball in their hands, scoring the ball. Now, when they come here, we have three guys. We have Judah, we have Joe, we have Jesse. They're going to do a majority of the shooting. They're going to score a majority of the points. That's just how the team is set up. That's just how it is. Right? That's just how it is. So I think these guys, talking about Brown, talking about Taylor, talking about Bell, they have to be secure within themselves to take a step back and be like, all right, bro, I need to be able to do this for the team, to be able to rebound the ball, to be able to compete at a high level. Because what he's saying, bro, it's not like these guys aren't talented, but what coach is saying is they're not fucking competing. They're not fucking competing. He talking about they're just not battling. What the fuck does that mean? That means they're not fucking going in there and just fucking being physical and going after shit. Like, you see Bell kind of like this sometimes. Like, the motherfucker, I seen him like this. I'm like, God damn, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, when you drop, there's gonna be some contact. Like, you're gonna have that's part of the game. You know what I mean? But I think for these guys, they have to find out, like, man, what I did this game, Malik Brown, what I did this game when I was just a fucking maniac and being active and then being all over around the ball offensively, getting tip-ins, making good little drop-down passes. You got to realize that, like, all right, this is what I got to do to play. You know what I'm saying? I played like that. I might not even fucking score, but I played 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So you got to look back at that and be like, all right, this is what I need to do. Not I need to score the ball. I need to score. I see that sometimes. Like, I think it's more so.
Sure. For sure,
and it's more so like just this generation. Like, maybe your boy's hitting you like, oh, what, you the defensive guy now? I don't see you.
Nah, for
you know
sure, bro.
So,
I'm with 100%, bro. I agree with you. We're in a spot where now, first of all, you said it well. If you come to Syracuse as a guard or a forward, 8 out of 10 times, bro, you were the man on your team. You were averaging 20 plus points your senior year or more, whatever the case may be. You were getting all the shots. Life was good. Then it's a new reality once you step on that floor, bro. It's a new reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you got guys ahead of you. We don't got to go back to our times, or me coming in as a freshman, then you got Paul Harris there already. It's like, I know I'm not playing over Paul, but how can I learn from Paul? How can I learn from him? That's the way that you got to see it. Like, I'm a freshman. I got to pay my dues. Unless you're coming in, again, ultra freshman, the Mellos, the G-Max, the Devendorfs. Like, if you're coming in like that and you're going to play a lot, go ahead. Now you're learning on the fly. All good. You still got to learn. But when you're coming in, you got to kind of really have some humility. You got to humble yourself a little bit and say, fuck, how can I learn from the guy in front of me? At the end of the day, he's not going to be here forever. And at some point, those minutes will be mine. So how can I learn from him today to be better for tomorrow? And that's the thing, bro. It's like, we got to be able to, again, the cliche, be a superstar in your new role. Forget who you were, because this is who you are. You're on a new team. And guess what? If you play past Syracuse, bro, if you play past the collegiate level, 10 out of 10 times, you're not going to be a star right away. 10 out of 10. You're not going to be a star right away. You know what I mean?
Probably won't be.
You probably won't. So it's all about, like you said, bro, being in this generation. We're in a generation where you want the fucking highlights afterwards. You know, you want to be able to open your phone, go on Twitter or Instagram and see that there was maybe a little fake highlight mix made, or that Q's men's basketball page, you know, put a little clip together, nice little edit together for you, whatever the case may be, bro. Nah. You know, reel it in, figure out how can I help this team win? How can I be a superstar in my role? And that's really not fun to do, bro, but you got to accept it. The moment you accept that role is the moment that you become a better basketball player, a better teammate, more coachable. Because now when you don't accept that role, you're like, fuck coach, you don't know what he's talking about. I'm capable of X, Y, Z. The assistants aren't really letting me rock out. Now, shit, I might have to transfer shit. What am I need to go somewhere where I can be who I want. You can succeed wherever you are as long as you accept the role that is given to you, bro. And that's okay to be accepting of that. It's okay. It's everybody at some point has to accept the role, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in business, whatever it may be. You at some point have to do the shit that you don't want to do in order to get to the spot to where, okay, now I know I'm here now. Now I'm the man and I can get busy. It takes acceptance and it takes hard work. And I hate to bring up personal experiences and things of that nature, but bro, my freshman year, like coach really told me, bro, you're not gonna play here unless you're able to shoot the ball, run the floor. Like, okay, well, fuck it, let me lock in. And those two things that he told me to do, he's giving me the blueprint. He told me, you're not gonna play here unless you lose weight, be able to run up and down the floor and make shots. The following year, I went Big East Six Man of the Year because I said I'm gonna lose weight so I could run for longer periods of time. I'm going to work on my shot. I wasn't a 40% three-point shooter my sophomore year, but I shot better than my freshman year, right? So I rebounded better my sophomore year. I averaged 10 points behind Wes and Andy, but it's like I did that because I listened to my coach, bro. I didn't listen to my homeboy telling me like, yo, they got you going crazy. They got you on some bull. Nah, I listened to my coach, who has been coaching at that point for 38, whatever it was, years. And I said, you know what? Fuck what I think. He knows. He knows. Yeah. He coached my favorite basketball player ever in Melo. He coached Dante, like guys at my position. So why would I not listen to what he's telling me? He sent guys, no, bro, it just doesn't make sense. Immediately I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna do what he asks of me, bro. Because if he is telling me that if I do these 2-3 things, which I can control, that I will play, I'm going to listen to you. I appreciate it, Coach. It was a harsh reality. It was hard to hear, but I appreciate it, and I'm going to go do it. So like you said, bro, just being accepting of your role is critical to your success. Like, you need that. It's pivotal, bro. Like, you need that. Because if you don't, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and all you're doing is going further and further down the depth chart. Because as you don't listen, there's someone else that will. And now Coach is like, fuck it, I could trust him. He's listening to instructions. I can see him applying what I'm saying. And then that's where you end up being further and further down the bench. Then you're playing the victim card. Then you end up transferring. Now you're at a D2 school.
Yeah, that's a god damn. You put it all the way out there for it. Hey, real quick, because ego is a motherfucker. Ego is a motherfucker, yes. Especially in sports. It's because you always feel like you the man. You the man, especially when you come from high school. Everybody telling you the man. You going to accuse you the man. Personal experience right now, or for me, I'm gonna tell you real quick. The year we won the TBT, right? I've been doing the TBT for 7 years, bro. And I'm not to toot my own horn, but I was the man on the team all the time. Like all TBT was top 3 in scoring all time in the tournament, whatever. That year we won it, bro. I probably played 10 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? 8 minutes a game. Obviously, I wasn't the same player I was. But in the beginning, my ego was on me like, fuck, you could still get out there and fucking hoop. You could still do it. But my role on the team didn't have to be that, because we had guys who were playing professional ball, in shape, had been playing overseas, that could do that. So what did I have to do? I had to step back for a second, and it was hard, bro. Like shit, bro, that was hard for me because I'm a guy. You give me the ball, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go ahead and get a bucket. But I had to step back and be like, what do they need me to do, man? They need me to fucking be that guy who is giving everybody energy. When I do get on the court, I'm gonna be a motherfucker who's gonna be a defensive guy and be a fucking pest. I never been that in my whole fucking career. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fucking defensive guy. Bringing energy, talk. I'm always gonna talk and bring that energy. But from me playing that whole time in my whole career, bro, I was a scorer, a guy who give him the ball, he gonna score. We need a bucket. To win that 1 year, I had to change, bro. I had to, and like for being that whole time, being that was my identity, to having to change for that 1 year for the better of the team. I had to do that, and what fucking happened? We fucking won the bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We won the bread, so that was
Cha-ching.
like my personal cha-ching. And at the end of the day, everybody got the same thing. And motherfucker, I don't give a fuck. I played 10 or 20. That bag was the exact same amount. You know what I'm saying? But that was kind of my personal story, because I understand what these kids, I get it. Like, an ego is a motherfucker, bro. But you got to be able to step back and really do it for the betterment of the team. And we all know this, bro. When the team does well, you fucking do well. Because now, like we talked about, if you want to play after college, you're not going to be a fucking scorer. You're not going to be the fucking man in the league. You're going to be, they're looking for, oh, this motherfucker played his role to a T at Syracuse. You know what I'm saying? We want to draft him. The Nets want to draft him. We want you to do the same shit that you did at Cuse. Rebound that motherfucking ball, run up and down, guard the best player. That's what these NBA teams are looking. Bro, they already know
They got
when it's a motherfucker like, yeah, but and then if they gonna draft a motherfucker who's special, they know it already. He gonna be gone after his freshman year, for real. Yeah. I mean, most of the time, freshman. So the kid from Alabama, whatever his name is, Brandon Miller, I think, or something. The kid is special, man. He like a Brandon Ingram. Like those type of players, they come every so often, bro. But most of these guys that are getting drafted, it's for a role. And I wish, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I wish I kind of would have took that into play when I was playing, because I was just trying to score. I wasn't gonna be no scorer in the league. I could have been a guy coming off the bench, maybe doing that. But the whole point of what we're trying to say is lock in to your role and what coach wants you to do and to be great at for the betterment of the team. Because first of all, Coach Boeheim is a Hall of Fame coach, right? So when he talks to these NBA guys, and he says, man, this guy is going to do what you need him to do.
Facts.
He's going to dive on that motherfucking floor. He's going to set a hard-ass screen. You don't think these NBA dudes is listening to him? Yeah, come on, man. It's like you said it great. Step outside of yourself for a second and figure out what you really need to do to better this team. And that's what I think a lot of these guys are dealing with right now. Jordan, did you take that off? Were we going to finish it? We went too long.
Very dependable.
Oh, there we go.
Rebound the ball and doing stuff. And tonight he played 15 minutes and didn't get a rebound. He usually plays 15 and gets 6. Again, hard to figure out. I can't. I really can't figure it out, tell you the truth.
You know, Jim, you've talked a lot about not being able to figure it out for the last few games. You've played a ton of guys. You've played a ton of guys all season. Is this the latest in the season that you've gone without having like a solid 5, a solid rotation? Is it because you just haven't been able to get consistency from certain guys?
Well, Chris, and it's a little misleading. We're playing Chris and Justin the same amount of time. Joe, Jesse, and Judah are playing as much as they can play.
Yeah.
So,
the whole fucking game.
Well, I mean, you played 9 guys today. You played 11 guys in the past. And
but John Bo played 1 minute. You know, you have to look at the actual minutes.
Yeah.
We played 8 guys tonight. That's what I've always tried to play: a center, a guard, a forward. That's what we've always tried to play. And if Benny was playing a little better, then he'd be playing more, and we'd be playing 7.5 guys. But
7.5.
he shouldn't be playing.
Playing half a motherfucker.
He's playing. He comes off the bench and wins the game for us. And he comes here and plays 27 minutes and gets 3 points and 3 rebounds. He has a rebound all by himself, nobody there, and loses it out of bounds. I mean,
he ripped the shit out that jersey too.
I just can't. He's our best forward, day in, day out. He's shooting it, and He's 6'9". He can jump. And he's playing 27 minutes and getting 3 rebounds. I watched plays, and his man leaves to help on Jesse. He's standing on the foul line. Jesse missed the layup. He's standing on the foul line. His man is playing Jesse. If he had gone to the basket, he's got a dunk. And he's standing there. And we've showed him this and talked to him about it all year. But when guys are not playing well, like if Justin and Chris hadn't played well, I would have gone with Quadir. That would have got another guy in the game. But if those two guys play well, then Quadir probably won't play much. And Joe and Judah are probably staying in the game. Samir was hurt. His shoulder's bothering him. I think he'll be all right, but he was hurt. I never heard of it before. He said he could shoot, but he couldn't pass. I never heard of it.
What the fuck?
That's a new one. That's a new one to me.
He's got some kind of wrap,
Holy
though, or something on his shoulder.
That's a new one. He can do this, but he can't do that. That he can't do, but he.
Damn, that's real though. What the fuck?
That's a new one. I'm not a doctor, but never heard of that one before. But look, we made for as badly as we played, for as many mistakes that we made, giving them baskets down the stretch. We almost played perfectly down the stretch. Almost. I don't have it on the top of my head, but the last few plays were Joe's 2 threes, Judah's foul shots, and then Joe's foul shots. So I don't know exactly, but it was like we had to do every one of those things to win the game by one. At the end, we wanted to foul. That's the play we always use. I never let somebody try to shoot. And that would have worked perfectly if we didn't dribble and fall or whatever we did there. I mean, I was like watching that. I'm going, that didn't just happen, did it? How does that happen? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm just too old. I don't know.
Coach, what was said to Benny after he came to the bench and took off his jersey and after he shoved you? What was going on? What was being discussed?
Isn't that good? Just try to put that energy in getting a rebound. That's what was said.
Whoa. What kind of laugh was that?
I mean, we find a way to win somehow. We did that.
Bro was
I know
thirsty.
it sounds stupid to say this, but I think Louisville's going to win some games. I think Ellis is really good. I think their big guys are okay. I think James looked good to me. I mean, they're going to make mistakes, and that's how you probably do lose. I watched them play early in the year. First of all, they lost. Those teams are good. Even though they're not well-known teams, the teams they lost to, they kept losing by 1 or 2. You can lose to those teams, especially when you're struggling. But I don't think they're that bad. Maybe, and I hope they are.
Coach was struggling getting out that motherfucking chair at the end, wasn't he?
He was
trying to get
ready
out.
to get up out of there.
Yeah, but I mean,
shit.
overall. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say we saying the same shit. Coach and us, we're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just like, I want to say I don't want to say the average person, but the average person maybe is not going to see the same things that we're seeing. They're not going to say the same things that we're saying, just because we know the game on a in-depth level. Like, we're not surface guys. We know, especially, again, Q Sports Talk. We've been there. We've been in those same exact seats, literally, the same locker room, same whatever. Bro, we've all played for the same coach. It's not like we are at a program like Iona, who is changing coaches, and now it's like, fuck, the identity of the team changes with the coach. We've had the same identity for 47 years at this program. So it's like, bro, the blueprint is laid out for you. When you come to Syracuse, you just got to look at the guys who were there that had some type of success before you at that position. I don't give a fuck if it was the 80s, 90s, or the 2000s. It's the same recipe, bro. It's the same recipe. You could change the cook, but the recipe is the recipe, bro. And we, so you come in, new player, you're a new cook. It's the same recipe. Let me just go ahead and fix this up. Bing, bang, boom, and I'm good. Just look at the people who had success before you. You know what I mean? And that's what you gotta do as a player. And that's what I tell kids. Like that's what I told a Quincy Guerrier. Like, look, bro. You're the prototypical Syracuse guy. You're 6'7", 8, athletic. Just look at the guys before you. You could look at myself. You could look at Wesley Johnson. And at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you're, going to the NBA. But, bro, look at that. Look at his success and how it came about. And you could do the same things. Right? Now, there's certain things that you can control that allows you to play more or less. That I can't tell you what to do, bro. But you're there for a reason. You don't go to Syracuse on scholarship to become a fucking doctor. Let's just be real. In this day, you're there because you want to get money playing basketball. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the recipe is there for you, man. We just gotta lock in, hold each other accountable. And as Coach was saying there in the presser, is he's been, they've been talking to certain guys about certain things all year long, and it still hasn't changed. So again, my thing is when is it gonna click? When is it gonna click that I have to just be a fucking maniac and go for every rebound? And again, maybe it takes longer. Some people, they don't get it right away, but at some point, bro, you're playing with your future, and that's something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, and stop fucking listening to your homeboys and shit, because I know a lot of them is, oh, don't worry, coach is getting old. Man, fuck all that. You better do what coach tell you to do. And real, if I was one of those younger guys, I'd be excited about that opportunity. Like, oh shit, we're like halfway through the year and it's still some minutes on the table. Usually by now, bro. Joe, like them minutes is locked up. Like, all right, bet I better just get my shit going in practice, motherfucker, because that's what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now, like, we're halfway through the season and them minutes is still right there on the table. You know what I'm saying? So now it's about figuring out how, when I get on the court, how can I add value and how can I help my team win? And bro, a win is a win, right? We get that. But like you said, it's a way to win the game. Are you winning the game and are you getting better as a team? Because Louisville is 2-13, right? We don't want to play down to the level that they're at because you're not progressing as a team. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what coach is saying as far as that goes. And then now we fucking go to at Virginia Saturday, which is, I know they just lost to Pittsburgh, but I don't give a fuck. When you play in Virginia, a team coached by Tony Bennett, they're going to be efficient. They're going to take care of the ball. They're going to lock the fuck up. They're going to play boxes and elbows. They're not going to let guys drive the lane. It's going to be somebody sitting there for Judah every single time. So now what do we need to happen? Guys have to be ready to shoot the ball, catch and shoot, and make shots. Yep. This is a team right here where we have to make shots. You have to make some 3-pointers to be able to open these guys up a little bit more because they're so packed in and not letting these guys get to the rim. They're making you shoot those jump shots. So now when you make a couple, now you're loosening up that defense. Now Judah can do what he does best, get in that lane, finish at the rim, get to the free throw line. Everything will open up when you make a few shots. And then obviously we got to take care of the ball. But if I'm some of those forwards, I'm excited about the opportunity that I have ahead, that those minutes are still available for me. Because like we said, Joe, at this time of the year, usually every spot is locked in. It's locked in because those guys have been playing consistent and they earn those minutes. Still minutes on the table, man. We'll see what happens Saturday. Hopefully they can go into Virginia and make some noise.
Let's fucking get it, man. Shout out to our last time listeners, but hopefully it's not your last time, but shout out to our first time listeners, to the ones that keep coming back. Happy New Year 2023. Let's get it.
Happy New Year. We'll see y'all next week. Let's do it.
Hopefully twice a week soon.
They'll play early in the year. First of all, they lost. Those teams are good. Even though they're not well-known teams, the teams they lost to, they kept losing by 1 or 2. You can lose to those teams, especially when you're struggling. But, I don't think they're that bad. Maybe, and I hope they aren't.